So let's talk about the Coach Inc. acquisition of Kate Spade, which happened back in May. Coach Inc. obviously purchased Kate Spade for $2.4 billion and was previously a competitor, so a bit of industry consolidation happening there. Coach didn't have traditionally an on-purpose line or something similar to that in its supply chain. And of course, it's probably too early to tell what is going to happen. That said, we've seen other examples of buyouts where companies that had a social impact purpose, like a Ben& Jerry's, which got acquired by Unilever, or the Body Shop, which got acquired by L'Oreal, were at the time actually struggling financially, right? And where those sort of like bigger competitors' buyout actually helped them to regain some of their footing financially. So my question to you would be, all of that's great. Do you think that the smaller company efforts in the area of social impact can survive such an acquisition? Do you think it's possible that they can keep their soul, so to speak, in terms of the impact that they're trying to have with this line of business?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I feel like, the value that Kate Spade brought to this house of brands, right? So there's Kate Spade, there's Stuart Weitzman, and there's Coach. And all three of us are owned by Coach Inc. And when you look at Kate Spade's portfolio, we are very, very attractive to the millennial customer, particularly when you're comparing us to Coach and to Stuart Weitzman. And so part of that millennial appeal, part of that millennial value that we bring on purpose plays a role in that. And being able to offer our customer the story and the ability to purchase product that is doing more for a greater cause, right? And that's something that we know that millennials care about, and that their purchasing power is growing quite substantially in the near future. So on purpose is definitely bringing that to the table for Kate Spade and then ultimately to our holding company, which is now Coach Inc. I think one of the challenges that we'll probably experience and I don't even know if I would call it a challenge, because there's also these times, and this is going to sound a little cheesy, but sometimes they can also be opportunities to innovate in how you're looking at what you're doing, right? I think one aspect that I'm like really excited about is actually being able to share what we're doing with On Purpose to our partners at Coach and at Stuart Weitzman. So they do have very traditional philanthropic giving that's done at Coach and at Stuart Weitzman, but I think what we've done with On Purpose is say, yeah, you can do good work, you can empower women, and it can be commercially viable for your company. So it's something that doesn't necessarily have to be kind of part of your company portfolio in a philanthropic way. That's a great way, but I would love to be able to share with them, and we're actually going to start this process, is how we've done this from a commercial side. And that to me is, when you look at kind of what we're looking to achieve with On Purpose, being a leader in the industry and sharing our story and making this model replicable is something that's incredibly important to us. Whether they be manufacturing handbags or they're, manufacturing any other type of product. It doesn't have to necessarily be handbags in order for our work to be replicated in other parts of kind of the manufacturing sector. So I do think that that's going to be, that's going to be a learning process for us. And in doing that, we'll probably see things that we do want to improve on. But I do think that's more of I don't think it's going to be a challenge for us. I think it's going to be also a reflective time for us to be able to maybe make some changes that we needed to make sooner. It's probably not the response you wanted, was it?
No, I think that's really good, actually, and insightful.
Okay, so the other thing that I would add to that is, and this is Taryn speaking, right? So, I really feel that the fashion industry has the opportunity to be the leader in women's empowerment, to be an agent of change that is greater than any other development agency or nonprofit could actually work towards, because our supply chains are 80% filled with women who are making our product, right? And I remember thinking back to when I was thinking about, okay, like, what do I want to do with my career? I knew I wanted to be in women's empowerment, but I didn't think I could actually be in fashion and do women's empowerment. I thought I was going to have to go the more traditional route, and I thought I wanted to be in the foreign service. And, I came to the conclusion, this was actually after a conversation with the woman at Walmart, and she was telling me about their kind of new they called it their Women's Empowerment Initiative, and they were going to source $20 billion, which they've actually achieved, from women-owned businesses in their supply chain. And like this light bulb went off that like the fashion industry, yes, it has been the problem, right? That has caused a lot of problems, but it's the solution being used in the wrong way. And I want to be part of actually like changing that ship, because the infrastructure is there, right? The infrastructure is there to be able to globally empower women in low-income countries. We just need the right people need to be in place in order to kind of activate the programs like On Purpose, like what Gap's doing with the PACE program, like what Walmart's doing with their Women's Empowerment Initiative. You have to have the right people in place in order to kind of make those ecosystems work for the company and for the individual that's making the product. And that's really what I want to be a part of, and what I feel like we really started at Kate Spade. And I'm really hopeful that what we've started with On Purpose is going to have this ripple effect, not only within our company, but in the other brands that we've just become part of their family.
Great.